Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the German Tier 8 Tech Tree Heavy Tank, the old but gold Tiger 2. Now it's got an awesome skin that you can get, it looks sick, it's old school, it's been in the game for God knows how long, it's a really solid tank, it's kind of fun to play, it's full of nostalgia. What a tank the Tiger 2 is. So, it did actually receive some buffs, which makes it even nicer to play these days, and brought it a bit more with the times. Let's go through those buffs, as you can see on your screen. It actually got some armour buffs, which was nice. So, the upper plate on the hull went from 150 to 160mm. The top turret went from 185 on the front to 245, which makes it kind of useful when it's hull down. It got roof armor from 40 to 50mm. The side of the turret went from 80 to 120, and from other panel on it to 100mm from 140, which is really great. It got some absolutely solid turret buffs. It got some absolutely solid hull armor buffs. It bounces quite a lot now, which is nice. Although you're not really seeing that in the replay. As I say, it got some turret buffs, and the turret buffs are great for it. It does have the problem that it still has a cupola that can be penned, and you have to be careful of that. The 50mm buff on the roof means that it can't actually get overmatched anymore by most of the tanks it'll face. It'll still get done by 152mm caliber guns that it still can face. But like most of the tanks that have 122mm guns, especially the Russians, can't overmatch the roof anymore, which is nice. The armor buffs are so nice for the tank, it's great. You can see the 105mm gun as well got a slight reload buff as well, which makes the DPM just that little bit better. But the important ones really for the tank are the armor. The armor it just makes it so much more usable, because what happened a lot in the past was it just got absolutely trashed by tanks that just fire premium and they just go straight through it. Even your same tier 8s, they just butter the tank up. And it'd be like, well, what's the point of this heavy tank? So for the fact that this tank does have a filthily accurate gun, and this gun is absolutely fantastic. So you just use this sneaky sniper gun fantastically as well. You'll have a great time. It's got 0.31 accuracy for a heavy tank, which is just so good base. It's old but gold. It's great. So in terms of a crew on the old school Tiger 2, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Trap Mechanic, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, and Off-Road Driving. Off-Road Driving to help it get to its top speed as much as possible. All the gun perks, because you're a heavy tank, even though the heavy tank, even though the gun is really good, I do want to make it that little bit better. And yeah, Off-Road Driving, like I said, to help it get to its top speed. In terms of equipment, I run Rammer, Vents, and optics to make the view range as good as possible with the optics, vents to make the all-round tank just that little bit better, and rammer to make the DPM better. Because the gun is that good, you don't really need to run vert stabs, to be honest. If it does start to annoy you, naturally you could run them, but like I say, because this gun is just a solid gun, you don't necessarily have to use them. It's the same as you don't necessarily have to use all the gun perks. If you wanted to run clutch braking and make this thing turn quicker and stuff like that, you could do that. If you wanted to make the turret traverse quicker, run rapid aim instead of snapshot or something like that. There's lots of different ways you can run the Tiger 2, lots of different ways to kit it out. What I've got is the more generic way of doing it, and it's probably the more generic way because I have a lot of crews and I want to just be able to slot it into a tank. But yeah, this game on Cliff has gone really well for the Tiger 2. We managed to take the position aggressively along the 2 lines, spot a lot of people, get a bit of assistance, get a bit of damage out. Finish with the epic victory, 3 kills, 3.5k damage, 3k assistance, the ace tanker, the Confederate, 1843 base XP. A really nice game for the old school Tiger 2. And we managed to use the decent mobility that the tank gets to get into that middle, down the 2 lines, spot up their team that were in their base. A fair few of our tanks managed to shoot them, which fed as assistance, and we managed to get a decent amount of damage out on them as well. Naturally, you saw a bit of the weakness of the turret, though, that we were hulled down, but people were shooting at a slight angle at our cupola, and they could still pen us. While this tank is so much nicer hull down now, with its 245 turret armor base value, when you are hull down, you ricochet a hell of a lot more off this turret now, which is great. It's a lot more like the E75 was, right? Because the E75, when you're hull down, will bounce a lot of shots. If they fire premium, they go through it. But now you've got that pretty similar turret to what the E75 had, but at tier 8. so it's a lot more effective against what you face, and it's really nice. It's probably what it should have had in the first place, just to make it that bit competitive. But the buffs to it have just brought it up a level. They've brought it back within the fold, really, and made it just not as obsolete as it once was. You can use the pretty decent DPM. I mean, it got that buff to make it just that little bit nicer. You can use the absolutely filthy gun handling that it's got to just wreck people very, very quickly, and you can have a lot of fun with the tank. Like I say, it's got good pen as well. It's like 220 odd on its standard rounds, which is great. The 280 odd premium pen is fantastic. You get a pen most things you're going to face with it. Old but gold is what I'm going to stick with. It's a solid tank and a lot of fun. And this skin that you can buy for the tank is utterly fantastic. Is that the second ram kill of the game? Yeah, the second ram kill of the game. Light tanks, they just like to throw themselves into the Tiger 2. This skin that you can get for the tank is also utterly fantastic. It makes the tank look just outstanding. It's one of those very, very good skins that they've done. And yeah, old but gold. I do love the old Tiger 2. So we're on Ghost Town. We've managed to push quite aggressively along this flank here. We're up to 2.3k damage. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go for this heavy tank and TD now. The SU-152 is very low health. And now it's just this T-26E5, the unskinned Patriot, alone. And he has really good DPM, so I do have to be careful here. But he is distracted. We were going for the drive wheel to track and pen him there, but unfortunately, really bad aim. And we ended up hitting the plate and ricocheting. We do finally get the shell in to track him. But this guy is really distracted with the other guy on the flank. And so we didn't really have to worry about him shooting at us, even though we did make ourselves a little bit safer by side-scraping against him. So now we've realised that the enemy team is coming in behind us, so we want to try and put some shots. Oh, the timing! The timing on that was so terrible. Just as we pull the trigger at the Panzerjäger, come around the corner, we hit our friendly Barask, who was running in front. Impeccable timing, that. And unfortunately, we didn't get the shot into him. The gun derps a little bit in the shot onto that Panzerjäger, but he manages to pen us. Then that guy pens us in the lower plate on the move. Like, come on. Please, there's a Tiger P managed to pen us on the move through the lower plate. Mental. But we managed to get the shot into the Panzerjäger, which is nice. We come round the corner, take a big hit from the T-34 Black. We didn't need to take that hit there. I didn't expect that guy to be there. To be honest, he just completely caught me off guard for a second because I didn't realise he was there. And we're now on hit points that we didn't really want to be on. We wanted some hit points to be able to throw at these guys. But we realised that the IS-3 is behind us and poking out. So we just drive back enough to be able to get the shot in to shut that guy down. Now we are kind of hull down against this Tiger P. And the Tiger P is going to struggle because naturally we're hull down. So our armour's a little bit better against him. And it's a Tiger P. And, you know, the Tiger P's got a big fat cupola that is really easy to hit. The Panzerjäger pops round and gets a shot straight through us. But fortunately enough, we kind of just managed to hot shot him and shut him down. But now we've got a side scrape out against this Tiger P so that he doesn't get the chance to pen us. He ends up ricocheting off our upper plate. He's trying to go round us. He does have a better reload than us, so we actually closed the distance on him very, very quickly so that he'd struggle to pen us, but fortunately enough, the artillery managed to shut him down. Now there's this poor Panther who is stock, so he was really going to struggle to pen us, and he gets shut down by the other Tiger 2. I'm finished with the epic victory. 6 kills, 4.4k damage, 273 assistance, the ace tanker, Top Gun, the steel wall, 1974 base XP. A really great game for the old but gold Tiger 2. Honestly, the buffs on this tank have made it really nice. It's just a solid heavy tank. Naturally, it's tier 8, though, tier 8 heavy. So it does struggle against tier 10s because the armour means absolutely nothing. But your gun is fantastic, so you can deal damage to them in that way. And you can still side scrape. It just makes it a little bit more durable, even facing against tier 9s in its own tier. Solid tank, old but gold. That's the Tiger 2. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.